Look around you, at your family, your neighborhood, your city, your nation. We humans exist within layers upon layers of intricate social structures. From the intimate bonds of kinship to the vast, impersonal systems of the modern state, we are creatures deeply embedded in collective life. But why? Why this complexity? Why didn't we remain solitary wanderers, or live only in small, fleeting bands? What deep-seated needs, what evolutionary pressures, drove us to weave these elaborate social tapestries? Consider the journey. From small hunter-gatherer groups, reliant on immediate cooperation for survival, we gradually formed larger, more permanent settlements. Agriculture allowed for surplus, population growth, and the need for new ways to organize labor, distribute resources, and manage disputes. Villages grew into towns, towns into cities, cities into empires and nations. And alongside these physical structures, invisible frameworks emerged. We developed language, not just simple calls, but complex systems capable of conveying abstract thought, shared history, and intricate plans. We created laws and customs, shared understandings of acceptable behavior, rights, and responsibilities, designed to maintain order and predictability. We crafted art, music, and stories, powerful mediums for expressing shared emotions, transmitting cultural values, and forging collective identities. Why go to all this trouble? What fundamental purpose do these complex social arrangements, these languages, laws, and cultural expressions serve for our existence and our sense of self? Are they merely practical tools for survival and resource management, or do they speak to something deeper within the human spirit, a need for connection, meaning, and belonging that transcends the individual? How did these elements evolve, intertwine, and ultimately shape who we are today, both as individuals and as a species? Our inquiry today explores the very foundations of human collective life. Why did humans evolve to form such complex social structures, from the family unit to the nation-state? How did essential tools like language, law, and cultural forms, art, stories, traditions, develop and function to bind these groups together? Ultimately, what is the fundamental purpose these intricate social and cultural systems serve for human survival, well-being, and the very construction of our identity? Science offers compelling insights into the evolution of human sociality. Evolutionary pressures. Survival advantage. Early humans faced significant environmental challenges. Cooperation in hunting large game, defending against predators, and raising vulnerable offspring provided a clear survival advantage over solitary existence. Groups offered safety in numbers and shared resources. Kin selection and reciprocal altruism. Evolutionary biology suggests mechanisms like kin selection, favoring relatives who share genes, and reciprocal altruism, helping others with the expectation of future help, fostered cooperative behaviors within groups. Cognitive evolution. The development of larger brains and advanced cognitive abilities, planning, communication, theory of mind, understanding others' intentions, enabled more complex social interactions and coordination. Managing social relationships itself may have been a key driver of brain evolution, the social brain hypothesis. Information transfer. Language allowed for the efficient sharing of vital information, locations of food or danger, tool-making techniques, social rules, coordination and planning. Complex tasks, like large-scale hunts or building projects, require sophisticated communication for planning and coordination, which language uniquely provides. Social bonding and identity. Sharing a language creates a powerful sense of in-group identity and facilitates the transmission of cultural norms, myths, and history across generations, strengthening social cohesion. Abstract thought. Language enables abstract thought, allowing humans to conceive of concepts like justice, gods, the future, and shared values, essential for complex societies. Culture as adaptive mechanism. Learned behavior. Unlike instinct-driven behavior in many species, human behavior is heavily shaped by culture, learned knowledge, beliefs, and practices passed down socially. This allows for rapid adaptation to diverse environments without waiting for genetic evolution. Social norms and institutions. Culture provides the blueprint for social life, defining roles, rules, customs, laws, and institutions, family, marriage, governance, religion, that structure interactions and reduce conflict. Laws, formalizing these norms, become crucial as societies grow larger and more anonymous. Art, ritual, and storytelling. These cultural forms are not mere entertainment. They reinforce social bonds, transmit values, explain the world, provide shared meaning, mark important life transitions, and help groups navigate crises. They build collective memory and identity. From family to nation. Kinship as foundation. The family unit, based on biological ties and long-term pair bonding, relatively rare in primates, provides the crucial environment for raising slow-developing human children. Kinship principles often form the basis for larger social organization in tribes and chiefdoms. Scaling up cooperation. As populations grew, mechanisms evolved to foster cooperation beyond immediate kin, often based on shared territory, beliefs, or economic interdependence. Tribes, chiefdoms, and eventually states emerged as ways to manage larger groups, defend territory, and organize collective projects, like irrigation or defense. The nation-state, a relatively recent development. The nation-state relies heavily on abstract concepts of shared identity, often constructed through shared language, history, education, and symbols, to unite large, diverse populations under a single political authority. Scientific perspectives emphasize that these structures and cultural tools arose because they conferred advantages in survival, cooperation, and adaptation, driven by both biological predispositions and cognitive evolution. While science explains the functional how and why of social structures from an evolutionary standpoint, Buddhist wisdom invites us to reflect on the deeper experiential and existential dimensions. Interdependence, pratityasamutpada. At its core, Buddhism emphasizes the fundamental interdependence of all phenomena. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything arises in dependence upon other factors. Our social structures are a profound manifestation of this principle. An individual cannot exist meaningfully without the web of relationships, language, and culture provided by society. Our sense of self is not an isolated entity, but is co-created through our interactions and the social mirrors around us. Recognizing this interdependence fosters humility and challenges the illusion of a separate, independent self. It highlights that our well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of the collective, the need to belong, and the roots of suffering, dukkha. Buddhism recognizes the deep human longing for connection and belonging. Isolation is a root of suffering, dukkha. Social structures, from families to communities, provide safety, support, and identity, fulfilling this fundamental need. However, Buddhism also strongly cautions against clinging, upadana, to these structures or identities as ultimate sources of happiness or security. Our identification with groups, family, nation, ideology can become a source of attachment, leading to exclusion, bias, conflict, us versus them, and suffering when those structures change or dissolve due to impermanence, anicca. Language and culture as tools and traps. Language and culture are powerful tools that enable cooperation and shared meaning. They are vehicles for expressing wisdom, compassion, and understanding. But they can also become traps. Language can frame and limit our perception, creating false dualities. Culture can become a rigid set of conventions that hinder personal growth or justify unwholesome behavior. The stories we tell can unify, but also divide, and sustain harmful delusions. Mindfulness, study of our language and cultural assumptions, is vital. Are we using them skillfully to foster connection and understanding, or are we imprisoned by them in narrow patterns of thought? Ultimate purpose, liberation from suffering. From the Buddhist perspective, the ultimate aim of existence is not mere biological survival or social prosperity. It is liberation from suffering and the realization of true nature. Social and cultural structures, while essential for worldly life, are not the final goal. They are the raft, not the far shore. They can support or obstruct the spiritual journey, depending on how we relate to them. A truly healthy society, from this view, is not only efficient, but also one that nurtures conditions for the development of wisdom, compassion, and ultimately, liberation. This reflection invites us to view our social and cultural structures not just as practical arrangements, but as expressions of deeper human needs and part of the larger spiritual context of understanding and liberation. Take a few moments to reflect on these ideas in the context of your own life. Reflecting on interdependence, think of one aspect of your life that you often consider yours, perhaps a skill, an achievement, or even your physical body. Now, trace the conditions that made it possible. Who taught you? What social resources supported you? What environmental factors nurtured you? Feel the vast web of interbeing of which you are a part. Exploring the need to belong. Identify a group you feel a sense of belonging to. Family, friends, community, nation. What does that belonging provide you? Safety? Identity? Purpose? Now reflect. Do you notice any attachment to that group identity? Does it ever lead to judgment or exclusion of others? How might you honor your sense of belonging without clinging to it? Observing language and culture. Today, pay attention to the language you use and the cultural assumptions behind your interactions. What words shape your view of the world? What unspoken rules guide your behavior? Bring a gentle, non-judgmental awareness to how these forces operate within and around you. This practice helps us see more clearly how we are shaped by social and cultural structures, and empowers us to engage with them more consciously and wisely. The social tapestry we weave is intricate and diverse. It emerges from basic survival needs, shaped by cognitive evolution, and held together by the power of language and culture. It gives us safety, belonging, and identity, but it can also be a source of attachment, conflict, and suffering. Understanding the origins and functions of our social and cultural structures, both scientifically and spiritually, allows us to navigate them more wisely. We can appreciate the support and connection they offer, while remaining aware of their limits and potential pitfalls. We can question our assumptions, challenge unjust norms, and work to build communities that are not just efficient, but also compassionate and supportive of inner growth. How can we, both as individuals and as a collective, continue to weave this human tapestry more consciously, ensuring that it reflects our highest qualities: cooperation, understanding, wisdom, and compassion? Which social structure, family, community, nation, has shaped you most deeply? What role has language or a particular cultural form, art, music, storytelling, played in your life? How can we balance our need for collective belonging with the preservation of individual identity? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's explore together the intricate tapestry of human existence.